Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Honey, the credit card bill came, and we're maxed out.
Maxed out cards, rent is due. We just need some extra cash to help us get by.
Maybe we should go to 27cash.com.
With our bad credit?
27cash.com is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with any type of credit get up to $5,000, and cash can hit our bank account as soon as tomorrow.
When you need extra cash, go to 27cash.com. That's 27cash.com. 27cash.com.
WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio.
Your brain is an amazing thing. But as you get older, it naturally begins to change, causing a lack of sharpness or even trouble with recall. Thankfully, the breakthrough in Prevagen helps your brain and actually improves memory. The secret is an ingredient originally discovered in jellyfish. Based on a clinical study of subgroups of individuals who are cognitively normal or mildly impaired, Prevagen has been shown to improve memory. A Pharmacy Times National Survey of Pharmacists rated Prevagen the #1 pharmacist-recommended memory support brand for the 5th year in a row. You can find it in the vitamin aisle in stores everywhere without a prescription. Help your memory. Try Prevagen today. Prevagen. Healthier brain, better life. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
From the Nashville Sports Radio Media Complex, this is the George Plaster Show. Call George now at 615-844-5600 and online at WNSR.com. And now, George Plaster.
Featuring Tennessee Sports Hall of Famer Watson Brown, Tennessee Sports Hall of Famer Kelly Holcomb, along with young gun Billy Derrick. And now, here's your host, George Plaster.
Hello again, everybody. Welcome in. It is a beautiful and hot Monday in Nashville, Tennessee. And I guess it should be. We're into June. It feels more and more like summer, and that's not all bad. Anyway, there's your little weather forecast for 30 seconds worth. Let's head to Murfreesboro and say hello to Kelly Holcomb. Kelly, how are you?
I'm good, George. I say it all the time, but I'm better now that you've given the Danielle Breezy weather forecast. It's awesome.
Right.
Thank you.
Yes.
It's hot.
As you know, I am our staff meteorologist.
We know. I think you missed your calling.
Scary, isn't it? So did you have a good weekend?
It was good. It was good. Had to get my son up to Murray State this weekend, get him checked in. He was supposed to go the week before, but they had some housing issues, and we got him up. And Murray's changed a lot since the Middle Tennessee Blue Raiders played there a long time ago when I did. The city's gotten a little bigger. It's gotten a little bit more places to eat at. Nice, clean. I like it.
Okay, good. We were concerned about your feelings about the city.
I bet you were. I bet you were holding your breath on to see how I felt afterwards.
Now, Billy, you have family ties to Murray.
Yeah, my brother's actually playing baseball over there. He'll be there in the fall.
So he got the athleticism out of the family, not you.
Yeah, he got the height. He's about 6'2", 6'3", so.
Oh, Kelly, really? If you run into his brother, what are you going to tell him about his older brother?
I want to punch your brother in the face daily. Wow. That's what I want to say.
That is so unprofessional.
All right, I'd do the same if I ever saw whatever his name is, Jameson.
Jameson would cold cock you.
I just want to ask Jameson, how did you survive throughout your childhood?
You know, I kind of like to ask that myself.
It was good. We ought to have them on one day. They would speak highly of Pops here.
Would they?
They would.
Under threat of what?
There's no threat of anything. I mean, it's just pure honesty because, I mean, I was up for Dad of the Year several years that I had, that they were here. So,
what organization would have honored you in such a way?
I'm not quite sure. I just know it was Dad of the Year potential.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay,
thanks.
let's see. Billy, I'm assuming that we have some sort of an update.
We do. And it's brought to you by Lori Burnett Leland. You can visit her online at mortgageladyyusa.com or give her a call, 615-969-4350.
Does the update have good meat on the bone, or is it just sort of?
I mean, I think it's got some meat on the bone.
Okay, let's hear
I
it.
know,
we know.
I know one thing that doesn't have any meat on the bone is George's predictions from last week.
You got that right. But Tennessee.
Hold on a second. Let me say this. Okay, it's been a weird postseason, NHL, NBA. Way too many visiting teams coming away a winner.
Yeah, what is up with that?
I don't know.
Expectations at home, man. I'm telling you, sometimes the expectations playing in front of your home crowd get the better of you. It happens that way in the NFL and whatever you're playing professionally. I mean, sometimes you just feel added pressure to win at home, and it doesn't work out that way.
Well, the added pressure for Tennessee baseball was not there this weekend. They ran through their regional. They beat Northern Kentucky 9-3, Indiana 12-6, Southern Miss 12-3. They outscored their opponents 33-12. They hit 9 home runs over the weekend, and they will face Evansville. I had that written down.
How about
before.
the old Purple Aces, baby?
The Purple Aces.
Yeah.
Only the 9th 4 seed ever to advance to the Super Regional round, and they will travel up to Knoxville this weekend for the Super Regional.
So I watched their game today. That rally they had, either 6th or 7th inning.
Yeah.
Very cool. Look, this is an athletic department that can use this kind of a shot in the arm. Do I think they're going to Knoxville and beat Tennessee? No. But the victory to me for them is getting into, if you want to call it, Sweet 16.
Yeah.
Man, good for them. University of Evansville.
And they lost 19-6 yesterday in Game 6. So they got thumped yesterday. They had to come back in Game 7 and beat ECU at ECU, who was the 1 seed in that regional. So Tennessee and Evansville this weekend. We know about Vanderbilt, 2 in barbecue for the first time since 2016.
2 in what?
Isn't that what they say?
2 in barbecue?
Yeah, 0-2.
Okay, I had not heard that.
You've never heard? You've heard that, right, Kelly?
I don't know if I've ever heard that, Billy. That's a new term. See, we're old guys. That's a new term for us. So I like it, though.
Right.
I might use it now.
Okay. Well, Coastal Carolina played Clemson. They lost to the Tigers.
And don't make it sound like, just that we're in the home and that we don't hear anything.
Can I confirm with Billy here to see if he's heard of that?
Sure.
Billy, have you heard of that phrase? No? Oh, my.
Okay.
Okay, maybe I'm in the wrong.
You made that up, Billy.
That's a thing.
Is that an Ave Maria thing?
They must not have taught you guys that at Fayetteville.
Okay.
Oh, save it, dude. Save it.
Coastal Carolina was eliminated by Clemson, so Clemson wins the home regional. They're in the Super. But Coastal head coach Gary Gilmore went off on NIL in today's era of college sports, and he said he absolutely will not miss dealing with it as the coach at Coastal. Listen to this.
Everyone was a free agent every year. Do you realize what chaos would be? It would go away. You wouldn't have those 3 sports. If you did, baseball, it'd be the Yankees, the Red Sox, the Dodgers, Texas, and the rest of the teams couldn't compete because they would spend every amount of money they needed to spend to do it. And that's what's going on right now. There's not a level playing field. It's just ridiculous for me. Much as I'm going to miss the kids, and I'm going to miss the heck out of them, dealing with that mess, I'm telling you right now, the fact that there are teams in college baseball giving $2+ million of NIL money away, come on, man. It's just, a real system would be one where they get a little bit of money, but then they put money in trust and this and that, so that you have the horror stories you see in the NFL and in different places. Major League Baseball gets big signing bonuses, and boom, 5-10 years later they're broke. They don't have a dime. They don't have an education. They don't have anything. there has to be a better way. It's not just who can raise the most money and give it away. There has to be a better way because, like I said, professional sports would go in the toilet in a hurry if we use this system. You know, I mean, this is me as a college coach. This is what I have to deal with. You can sign your returning players to a scholarship which binds you to them, but they come around in July and go, I'm gonna go in the portal. You know, I'm up in the Cape and somebody's gonna give me a big NIL deal, and you know, you were held accountable, coach. You had to honor that scholarship you gave me, but you know, now I'm gonna go in the portal and leave you hanging. That's a messed up system. You know, I hope somebody fixes it. I'm gonna be honest with you. That part I'm gonna enjoy that. To be very honest with you.
Okay, so he said what all the coaches are thinking. Mm-hmm. A lot of the coaches won't say it, Kelly, because they know it's going to be used against them in recruiting. Yep. And he, after 29 years, is on his way out. And he said what every coach in America is thinking.
I totally agree, man. We've said it over and over on this show, George, that the NCAA, when this came out, they had no organized plan for what's going on. I've always agreed that kids need something, but when you start putting $2 million and you start talking about the M word with college kids, it's just too much. It's too much. And then I can't imagine what these coaches are having to go through, because you used to be able to go recruit kids. Now you got to recruit the kids that are on your team just to keep them there. And if they get disgruntled and they think you're they get upset about something, I'm going to the portal. I don't care what you say. I'm not going to come to any more meetings. I've got a scholarship, but you know what? I'm out. I'm going to the portal. And it's tough on these guys. And these, as you see, you know, this guy gets out, Nick Saban gets out. You got guys going to the NFL and, you know, at Boston College. I mean, it's going to be a revolving door now.
Okay, I'm going to throw one out there that I heard today. And this is part of the reason why the NCAA no longer really holds the cards. So they're in charge of the NCAA basketball tournament and the NCAA baseball tournament. So today they played the deciding game at East Carolina. Mm-hmm. East Carolina's got a bunch of students way out behind the left field fence. The NCAA barred them from using what do you call those things?
Megaphone.
Megaphones. Really?
That's bad.
You got nothing more to worry about than whether they've got a damn megaphone?
They replaced them with some paper.
I saw it. I mean, that's the reason. That is the absolute typical reason why the general public hates the NCAA. Because of stupid crap like that. I mean, really? What reason? What reason could they not allow those kids to have their megaphones, which apparently they use during the regular season?
It's like not letting Mississippi State, use the cowbells.
One word: dumb.
Kelly liked that one. Okay, other baseball news. South Carolina has parted ways with head coach Mark Kingston. Their season ended with a shutout loss to James Madison yesterday. He was there for 7 years, 217 and 155 overall, and Carolina making a change.
So is there a leader in the clubhouse
for
that job?
Well, I heard that Tennessee third base coach Josh Elander might be up for that job, who's a really good coach. So, also, there could be a change at Texas with their baseball coach. I've heard some rumors and murmurs in the rumor mill, Kelly, that Tony Vitello might be pursued by Texas.
I also think another coach in this state will be pursued.
Tim Corbin?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Absolutely.
Very interesting.
Now, look, I have no proof of this, but I believe Tim Corbin was going to the University of Texas, and it all ended up stopping due to the tragic death of Donnie Everett. I think Corbin has always been fascinated by the Texas job, and it would not totally shock me if that happened.
That would shock me a little bit.
But that's a place, guys, that at the University of Texas, like, money is no object. So, I mean, that's obviously a bargaining tool for when you're going after Tennessee's the same way, though. But, like, if you're going after a Tony Vitello or a Tim Corbin, I mean, they've got so much money to spend. And just like that coach talked about, hey, they're all in NIL. They'll give you what you want.
Lots of J.R. Ewing wannabes.
Yes.
NFL news, Justin Jefferson and the Vikings have agreed to a 4-year, $140 million deal. He's now the highest-paid non-quarterback in NFL history.
It is good to be a wide receiver if you can make it to the league. And if you can make it to the league and put up numbers, then you'll end up with Kelly Holcomb kind of money.
I wished I had a little bit of that. I'd take a little percentage of that there, George. Isn't that amazing, though, how it's changed, though? We talked about, you talked about collusion with the running backs. It's not the days of Emmitt Smith and Walter Payton and those days where Eric Dickerson was lighting it up and they were the guys, they were the main attraction. It's gone to such a passing deal where it's quarterbacks and receivers, and every now and then throw a tight end in there like a Travis Kelce or guys like that, Rob Gronkowski. But the game has changed so much over not so long ago. I mean, we were still talking about Adrian Peterson that I played, was probably the better player on our team, and we wanted to get him the football. But now, no, it's not that way.
Did you see where Darren Waller might be retiring? For his music career. Apparently he's expected to make a decision before next week. He's been busy working on his music career, and he admitted earlier this offseason that he was questioning his commitment to football.
Well, if you played for the Giants, you'd question your commitment. You'd question their commitment.
Your decision to play football.
Yours, but theirs.
Yeah. That's what I got. Florida just took a 4-2 lead against Oklahoma State. In the Stillwater Regional,
which had a ton of empty seats.
Yeah, 3 o'clock probably won't be the best.
A little warm.
Yeah.
That's
what I got.
I get it. Okay, good update. I mean, I'd give it a.
It's a B. It's a B or B+.
It's a B.
Kelly wanted me to get to the latest in NASCAR, but any NASCAR stuff over the weekend?
No, not in NASCAR. I know we're a big NASCAR place here, but I'm kind of more of an open wheel guy. I don't know.
So what happened in Indy?
I'm not saying I'm an elitist of all, because you got the open wheel over in Europe, the F1, which is crazy. That stuff's crazy. It's amazing how much money they spend on cars. But yeah, I do dig open wheel.
We got to get Kelly's take on the Grand Prix, Music City Grand Prix.
No question. But after the break, we'll get a little bit deeper into Tennessee's run that appears headed to Omaha, and Vanderbilt's 2 and out. What was it you called it?
2 and barbecue. And Jack Gold on YouTube did confirm that is indeed a thing. He says, I promise you, you're not crazy. And I actually got a text from a cousin saying you're not wrong either. That's a big.
We get it. All these guys are allies of yours. We get it.
Yeah.
Grow up, Billy.
I totally agree. We'll go to the break. By the way, at 4:40, we'll get knee-deep into the big issue of the day. Is Nashville hosting the 2029 Super Bowl? Billy, try to regain your composure. You've taken on some water here in this opening segment. Either way, all of you out there are listening to 95.9 FM on the George Plaster Show.
It was the most horrible experience that any mother could ever go through. I knew that I needed to get help. My friend, she immediately said, you need to call Bart Durham. And you guys were there within an hour. You guys are like family for us.
Yeah, sure is nice to connect with the people that you're doing your best to help. You were in a crash.
Nashville, get ready for the greatest show on turf. Electrifying, high-octane, non-stop spring football action, starting at only $30. Don't miss the season opener this April 27th at Municipal Auditorium.
Hi, I'm Jeff Fisher. The Nashville Cats are bringing arena football back to Nashville.
Grab your tickets now at thenashvillecats.com and be part of the action.
Custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donnelly.
Year number 2 of the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night was awesome. And the reason is really simple. I chose Strike and Spare, and they were amazing. They have great food, great bowling, and a staff that is truly ready to go the extra mile to help you. They have 5 family fun centers in the area to choose from. And for more info, go to strikeandspare.com or call them at 615-824-5688.
Is the most important.
Venture Express has been helping people in this area for more than 40 years. They're headquartered in Murfreesboro with over 30 years of dedicated fleets involving production, manufacturing, and corrugated experiences. They're an asset-based company with over 700 tractors, 4,000 trailers, and 800 drivers. If you need their help, dial them up 615-793-9500 or log on to ventureexpress.com. Venture.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donnelly Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
Service Community Bank, we are proud to offer loans with competitive rates, local decision-making, and fast, friendly service from our experienced lenders. No matter where you are on your financial journey, Wilson Bank & Trust is ready to help you take the next step. Visit your nearest Wilson Bank & Trust office or online at wilsonbank.com to get started today. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
And now, Sunspace Sunrooms RVM Development are proudly saluting our troops and veterans. Their tireless efforts should never go unnoticed. This message is brought to you by Sunspace Sunrooms RVM Development. For maintenance-free enclosures, sunrooms, screen rooms, patios, and more, give Russ a call today and ask about their senior, military, and first responder discounts. 423-225-2414. 423-225-2414. Or visit sunspacesunrooms.com. That's Sunspace Sunrooms RVM Development. They're professionals who care.
The 2024 Atlanta Braves are on a mission to bring home a 7th straight NL East title and head back to the Fall Classic.
Harris to the warning track. Harris will leap, and he got it! He caught the ball! You have got to be kidding me! Swung on, belted, deep right field, gone!
Listen to the NL East defending champs, the Atlanta Braves, only on WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio.
Terrific bump music to get us back here on this Monday afternoon. So I want to throw a little bit of a theory out there and see what you all think. On one hand, excuse me, got all choked up there.
You need this, George?
Okay, here we go. On one hand, I'm not about to tell you that Tennessee isn't going to make the World Series in Omaha. I think they are. And I think they got a really favorable draw in Evansville. The one concern I have about Tennessee is this. they live and die by the long ball.
Mm-hmm.
And most of your college campus baseball fields are a little bit smaller. You go to Omaha, it might as well be, the Mammoth Cave. It's a 420 to dead center. It takes a crank to get one out of there. That is my one worry about Tennessee.
And it's happened to them the last several times they've been to Omaha where they haven't been able to win that first game. And whether that's an offensive problem or not, I know they faced Paul Skeens last year, but it's a little bit different playing in Omaha than Lindsey Nelson Stadium. I mean, 320 down the line and right, I think left is somewhere similar, and they're comfortable. And the road to Omaha, right, they'll probably be in Omaha, but the road will not have been the hardest, I'll say. It's definitely probably been the easiest. So they get there, challenge, your competition gets better.
But in fairness, they've earned the right for it to be easy by being the number one team in the country.
Yeah.
But
let me ask y'all this though. How long has it been since a number one overall seed? It's been like 20 or 30 years that the number one overall seed has won the College World Series.
1999.
Yeah. Yep.
99.
It was Miami.
25 years. Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
So, I mean, they're going in as the number one overall seed, and that hasn't boded well for the past 25 years for these teams.
And look, they've got all the talent in the world. They're the most talented team in the country. But the most talented team in the country doesn't usually win it. Right? That's reason being the one seed hasn't won it since 99. So I think they'll have to find some more ways other than just hitting the long ball in beating teams, because I don't think you'll be able to do that. I could be wrong. Could be totally wrong in this era. They could keep this.
Watch game one. They hit 8 when they get to Omaha. But the past history suggests that you better know how to play some small ball, which is interesting because most of the year, most of the schools have smaller stadiums. If I'm Tennessee, I'm playing to that power. But all of a sudden you get to Omaha, it's a different deal.
Yeah, and they've got the pitching. They don't really have an ace or a horse. I mean, Drew Beam's been awesome. They have an opener in a lot of their game ones with Chris Stamos and then A.J. Causey, and the guy that pitched yesterday pitched really well. But you've also got to pitch well because every team in that field is going to hit. So it'll be really interesting to see.
But don't y'all think a couple of years ago when they had that really good team, they hit all they ended up, I think this year, breaking that home run record the other day, hit 5 the other day. So don't y'all think with what they had a couple of years ago with all the expectations and everybody was patting them on the back and saying they were the best team in the league, don't you think that gained them a lot of experience about what's happening right now? And it seems like I asked Tony this the other day, but don't y'all think it seems like that they're handling it a little bit better than they did 2 years ago?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, they feel like a more mature team. I mean, 2 years ago, that was bound to explode at some point. I mean, you saw Jordan Beck flipping the bird to one of the Georgia Tech players. It just, and Vitello's gotten better too. I mean, he's gotten more conservative. You haven't seen the blow-ups. I mean, that same year, he chest bumped an umpire against Alabama. Drew Gilbert got ejected in that super regional. You haven't seen a lot of those theatrics.
No, you're right. It's been a much quieter, much more we expect to be here and we move on.
Yeah.
I'll be real interested to see. By the way, hold on a second. Before we go any far,
I think we're back.
Apologies for technical difficulties, whatever that means. So going back on the Tennessee thing, they look ready to roll. And I don't think Evansville's the one that's going to derail it. I think they're going to get to the College World Series. And when they do, they're a handful. But that park is way different. That is my one concern about Tennessee is that park.
Yeah, and I think last year is different than this year too. You had more dominant pitching. They had to face Paul Skeens, and the pitching is down this year. So that maybe this is the year where they get to Omaha, and maybe it's not as much of a challenge as we might think. Because often, and I said this to somebody Saturday, it feels like great pitching no longer beats great hitting, at least in college baseball this year. Because number one, you don't have the dominant pitching. You still got some pretty good aces on these teams, but with the bats and the balls, the types of balls they're using, the home run numbers are ridiculous. So maybe it's more of an offensive game now, but I still think the point stands. Tennessee can't be as reliant on the home run as they have been so far.
Kelly, I brought up Friday while you were gone that this is a little bit of a crossroads for Tim Corbin, and it's been a long time since he's faced one. The last 2 or 3 years, their everyday lineup doesn't have the oomph that it used to. Personally, I don't think they scare anybody the way they used to. And yet, I believe that Tim Corbin's done enough at Vandy, 2 national titles, God only knows how many super regionals, I don't have it in front of me, that he has earned the right to try to fix this without a bunch of Vandy fans on his butt.
I'm totally with you, George. He's done so much winning at the place, but I said it last week or 2 weeks ago. It's just like the Bill Belichick effect. The guy went to 9 Super Bowls. He won 2 with the Giants. He won 6 with the New England Patriots, and he got thrown out the minute they started doing bad. I mean, Tom Brady was obviously a huge cog in that wheel. One of the, I don't know if it's arguably the greatest quarterback ever. But it's a society of what have you done for me lately, and I understand where that is, but I'm with you. I think Tim Corbin has deserved the right. He's won a lot of games there, and when y'all talked about, that's intriguing to me about hearing his name. I don't know if it's up, but hearing his name for like if the Texas job does come up, do you guys think Tim Corbin thinks that he's done all he can do here and it's time to move on? Because some coaches, I mean, let's be honest. Some coaches, that's the way they go. They go to a place. Now, he's been there for a long time, and I'm sure he probably wants to stay at Vandy. But do you think that he's gotten to the point where, hey, maybe some new scenery, maybe helps, or maybe he thinks that he's done enough here that he can go somewhere else? I mean, what's y'all's thoughts on that?
Knowing Tim Corbin, he's not going to go out after going 0-2 in a regional. That's my first thing. I think if and when he does go out, it'll be after making Omaha or having a better season than this one, quite frankly, at least. So that's what I would say there. But, I mean, George, in terms of him staying or leaving, I don't think he's leaving anytime soon. Now, that doesn't mean he's not thinking about it. He's not having conversations, and that's just my opinion.
Well, I'm going to give you a different one. People that know him say he's always been intrigued by Texas. Do I think he listens if Texas comes calling? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But what ultimately, is the pull to come back at Vanderbilt and keep this? Because I think if Vandy loses Tim Corbin, all momentum in that program, I think, is lost. Now, unless a guy like we've talked about, Eric Bakich, who's at Clemson right now, if they were to bring him in, for example, and I'm getting ahead here, but it would obviously depend on who they hire. But Tim Corbin at Vanderbilt has done enough, like you said last week, George, to fix this and have the opportunity to fix it.
Well, to have the right to fix it without people being up his butt.
Yeah.
The social media aspect of this kind of stuff. He's just earned that right.
But George, in this new age of college sports, with all the NIL and the transfer stuff, does he have enough resources that he can keep doing the same thing that he was doing? I mean, that's a good question. Like,
It's a very good question.
Does he have enough money in the NIL to compete with Tony Vitello at UT, who's willing to spend anything, or to, go to a University of Texas who's willing to spend anything to get their program to the top? I mean, the coach at Coastal Carolina just talked about that. Like, there's only going to be a few. And we talked about that in football. You're going to get the Michigans, the Ohio States, the Alabamas, the Texases, the Oklahomas that are blue bloods in that sport. They're the ones that are willing to spend that money. And you called it the J.R. Ewing's wannabes. But,
Yes.
I mean, if they're willing to spend that money. Is a Vanderbilt willing to spend that money to keep Tim Corbin's program where it needs to be?
I think my biggest question in the whole deal is, in this transfer portal age where every year, coaches are having to restock. They lose a certain amount. Now they try to go get a certain amount. I'm told that at Vandy, if a kid decides he wants to go there, that Vandy will say, well, there's a certain number of these credits that you've earned at whatever school we're not going to take. And I don't doubt that that's a bone of contention right now that will have him going to the administration going, ease up.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be on the administration as much as it is Tim Corbin, because if he has a kid that he wants in his program from another school and that kid can't get in, then that's a problem. So I think it's this is about Tim Corbin meeting with the AD, the chancellor, saying, here's what I think we have to do to get this program back on track. And if y'all aren't with me, then I could see him making a decision that Vanderbilt fans might not be happy with. But again, I don't think that's going to happen. I think he'll do the right things to get this fixed. And again, I can't see him going out like this. And I have heard, again, that the offseason will be more aggressive in terms of the portal. And it has to be.
Okay, we'll go to the break on that. And when we come back, we're going to get into a lengthy conversation about Super Bowl, Nashville, Tennessee, 2029. I'll explain where I'm coming from when we come back. You're listening to The George Plaster Show on 95.9 FM. As you might be able to tell, my buddy Stan Harrison, he's an Alabama Crimson Tide fan, but he's actually here to talk about Apple Collision Centers.
Hello, Middle Tennessee. I'm Stan Harrison, CEO of Apple Collision Centers, and we understand the stress it causes in having an automobile accident. We can help you ease the stress of the auto body repair process at our 3 locations. We're conveniently located in Old Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin. We've got rental cars available, we have PDR technicians available, and we have windshield technicians available. Please stop by one of our places and see us if you need our services.
And by the way, when you come in his office, this just in, he's a sports fan.
You were in a crash.
Yeah.
Your kids were in the car with you.
We're very lucky to even be telling this story to you. Nikki treated us like family, and she was very caring and loving, and I'm just so grateful for that. She was somebody I could trust, and being a veteran, that's so important to me. My kids are going to have a better life now because I don't have to worry about those expenses that we were out. Your family has really created a legacy of trust, and I would recommend you to anyone.
Nashville Sounds Baseball is back in Hit City for the 2024 season. Spend your nights and weekends at the ballpark with weekly giveaways, fireworks shows, throwback deals, live music, and more. Top talent will take the field at First Horizon Park against the AAA Minnesota Twins, Baltimore Orioles, Atlanta Braves, St. Louis Cardinals, Cincinnati Reds, and more. Tickets start at just $10 and are available now at NashvilleSounds.com. We will see you in Hit City.
For over 35 years, Wilson Bank & Trust has been committed to providing customized banking solutions to help individuals, families, and businesses in Tennessee achieve their goals. As your full-service community bank, we are proud to offer loans with competitive rates, local decision-making, and fast, friendly service from our experienced lenders. No matter where you are on your financial journey, Wilson Bank & Trust is ready to help you take the next step. Visit your nearest Wilson Bank & Trust office or online at wilsonbank.com to get started today. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Over the years, more men have started to seek help for hormone deficiencies and imbalances, and Dr. Jeffrey Lodge and wife Daphne, along with their experienced staff, give men the treatment required to improve their quality of life, improve your immune system, energy level, cognitive function, and more. There's no better time to achieve a healthy lifestyle. What are you waiting for? Give Cool Springs MD a call today for an appointment at 615-486-3458 or visit the website coolspringsmd.com.
Sports Bar and Grill.
It's the McFarland Show with Darren McFarland and Fox 17's Justin McFarland.
A lot of times they will say, well, you didn't play the way we practiced or whatever it is, you didn't execute. How many times have you heard that over the years, Darren? This is going to be different. Brian Callahan is bringing a different philosophy into the building, one that includes talking to players more about what makes them feel comfortable.
The McFarland Show with Darren and Justin on Nashville Sports Radio WNSR.
Okay, you're probably sitting there saying to yourself, what has George been smoking? Super Bowl Nashville 2029. Well, sometime last week, Albert Breer, who is one of the more respected NFL information people, Sports Illustrated, NFL Network, I'm going to read to you what he put out, and those of you who are watching the podcast can see it. Nashville is going to get a Super Bowl, and I'd bet it happens in February 2029, with the general rule being that stadiums can't host Super Bowls in their first season. Super Bowl LXII, which I think is 62, would be the first shot at it for Nashville, and I'd be surprised if the NFL doesn't jump right on that. Okay, now I will admit that until I read this, I've been very skeptical for one big reason, and that is that this dome stadium, the number of seats for this thing is somewhere between 55 and 60,000. And to be honest, it's been a little murky as to which number it is. Kelly, when I hear NFL information people putting it out, I realize I got to rethink a little bit and say, you know what? Maybe it is going to happen.
George, it normally happens that way. Once you build a new stadium, within a couple of years, it seems like the Super Bowl is going to that stadium. So I would not be a bit surprised, especially if it's going to be now. I think I've asked you this before, guys, but is it going to be a retractable roof or is it all the time closed?
Translucent is the term.
Oh,
and
translucent.
Is it the Chargers that have that? Either the Chargers or the Raiders, or maybe both. Where it's not retractable, but the sun can shine through it. You can see through it. So
yes,
and if that's huge right there for a Super Bowl, because you never know in February, the 1st of February, what it's going to be like. I mean, it could be warm outside in Tennessee, or it could be frigidly cold. So that certainly helps. But I would not be surprised of seeing a Super Bowl here, just like Albert Breer's talking about.
Now, if he's right, and I'm for the moment taking him on his word. By the way, we tried to get Albert on the show and just were not able to make it happen. However, that's why Butch Spyridon will be joining us at 5 o'clock, because Butch, the retired CEO of the Nashville Convention and Visitors Bureau, was the driving force behind the NFL draft coming here. He was the driving force in getting all of the political whatevers together for this dome stadium, he'll have some interesting thoughts on it. So where am I maybe changing my thought process? So you got an information guy who knows a lot more of the NFL ways than I do. I've gone with the NFL's the most money grubby organization in the history of money grubby. They won't go for 55, 60,000. Well, upon further review, my answer to it is they just jack up the price a couple of extra hundred. And by the way, the Super Bowl ticket in recent years, the worst seat in the house, face value, is over $1,000 a pop.
That's what
That's
what I was going to say, George. But by that time, tickets would be $10,000 a piece, probably. So that's how they make their money up. I think you're correct, but I can't hate on the NFL because I played for 13 years. So they blessed me well, which I totally I love. I thank so much.
Well, that's wonderful. I know they appreciate it. Commissioner Goodell, I know, would like to come on and just thank you for that.
Now,
Very
I wish
heartfelt.
I could have stayed in. I wish I could have stayed in for a couple more years because now the contracts are getting, just enormous. Like we just saw Justin Jefferson, $140 million over 4 years for a wide receiver. I mean, good gracious! Like I missed it by 2 years. If I would have stayed in, I would have gotten paid, and it just seemed like it wasn't the right timing for me ever in the NFL.
I'm going to assume that one thing Butch is going to tell us is that our city no longer lacks for hotels.
No. And they've done a really good job. Like, I think you look at what they did when the draft came. I mean, it was one of the better drafts.
Oh, it was right up there at the top.
Oh, absolutely. They did such a good job downtown, and they were so organized with it, and I'm sure Butch was heavily involved in that. But, there's so many people that come together to bring something like that, and they do such a really good job. And you know that the NFL and Major League Baseball is looking at that as well, because I think at some point you're going to get a Major League Baseball team in Nashville. So I know that's where, you hope. But I think they did such a good job with the draft that, I mean, it's going to be a home run when they get a Super Bowl here. Because I think the guy's right on. I think he's right on because I think once you build a stadium, the NFL is looking to go to that stadium. And if it's undersized, maybe, and they don't have, the gigantic thing that Jerry Jones has out in Dallas, they're going to up the price on you. And people are willing to pay that. We've seen.
Here's the other thing that we now have that if you had ever brought this conversation up in the past, it couldn't really happen. Music City Center, our beautiful $600 million convention center, because one of the big things is Radio Row and all the media. Well, that's a big old check mark that used to not be there. But that one erases that particular problem. Is traffic a concern? Of course it is. That's a huge concern.
Infrastructure as a whole. I mean, 2029, that's,
5 years away.
5 years out. So obviously you would think it'd be better, but it's still Nashville and, it's not going to stop growing. So infrastructure definitely would be something to look at.
So hotels and convention center, big check marks. People wanting to come here, double check mark. There's a lot of pluses. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and act like our city isn't good enough. I know damn good and well it is. But I have had this suspicion for a while that the NFL was going to screw us over because of the capacity. And now I hear somebody that knows a lot more about it than I do saying, oh, it's coming here.
Yeah,
to me, that's pretty exciting.
I think we had somebody else on. I forget who it was, but that the capacity wasn't an issue. It was surely cutting it close, but that it wasn't going to be a big concern. which surprised me too because what is it, 60, right around?
Somewhere in the 55 to 60 is what they've said. I don't know that anybody's given us the exact number.
Yeah, now we're talking about 5 years down the road. Now, I will say the one drawback right now is the traffic downtown and all the construction that's going on downtown. So hopefully, that'll be out of here. I'm not sure. I'm sure there's still a lot of things going on, but what they did with the draft was unbelievable, and how that was organized and how good it looked and how many people were here downtown. I just think the NFL would hit a home run if they came here for a Super Bowl.
Butch Spyridon knows more than virtually anybody, so excited to get him on when we start the 5 o'clock hour. After the break, we'll have Stat of the Day. Not quite as excited about that. Butch, just after 5 o'clock when we come back from the news. And then at 5:20, I'm going to want to open the phones up to get your reactions. Do you think we're getting a Super Bowl or do you not? And give me whatever reasoning you have either way. Whatever the case, excuse me.
You're listening to the George Plastic.
Thank you. Keep going.
On 95.9 FM.
Beautiful.
Good afternoon. It remains pretty slow to go trying to get out into Dixon County. Earlier today, we had a crash on 40 westbound. Before 840, that's really slowed down traffic out there in Dixon County. Keep that in mind. There's a lot of traffic headed out in that area through Kingston Springs on 40 going west towards Dixon. It's looking better than it did an hour ago on 40 east out in the Mount Juliet area. Just watch for radar out there. Same thing, 24 in Rutherford County. Lots of radar. Princess Hot Chicken now has Uber Eats for delivery. PrincessHotChicken.com. I'm Commander Chuck. You're on time traffic.
You were in a crash.
Yeah.
Your kids were in a car with you.
We're very lucky to even be telling this story to you. Nikki treated us like family, and she was very caring and loving, and I'm just so grateful for that. She was somebody I could trust, and being a veteran, that's so important to me. My kids are going to have a better life now because I don't have to worry about those expenses that we were out. Your family has really created a legacy of trust, and I would recommend you to anyone.
PJ's Painting Service is on the air reminding all motorists to slow down on our roads, keep an eye out for kids at play and in our school zones, and to never text and drive. It can wait. This message courtesy of PJ's Painting Service, serving the area with quality and pride for the last 5 years. For commercial and residential painting, pressure washing, and drywall installs, call PJ's Painting Service today at 256-663-0781, 256-663-0781.
For over 35 years, Wilson Bank & Trust has been committed to providing customized banking solutions to help individuals, families, and businesses in Tennessee achieve their goals. As your full-service community bank, we are proud to offer loans with competitive rates, local decision-making, and fast, friendly service from our experienced lenders. No matter where you are on your financial journey, Wilson Bank & Trust is ready to help you take the next step. Visit your nearest Wilson Bank & Trust office or online at wilsonbank.com to get started today. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Venture Express has been helping people in this area for more than 40 years. They're headquartered in Murfreesboro with over 30 years of dedicated fleets involving production, manufacturing, and corrugated experiences. They're an asset-based company with over 700 tractors, 4,000 trailers, and 800 drivers. If you need their help, dial them up 615-793-9500 or log on to ventureexpress.com.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donnelly Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615 456-7983 or log on to DonleyTimmons.com.
When was the last time you did something fun with family, friends, coworkers, and clients? What if I told you about a place under one roof that offers affordable entertainment for all ages? That's what you'll find at Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers in Donaldson, Hermitage, Tusculum, Hendersonville, and Murfreesboro with bowling, games, food, drink, and entertainment for all ages. Enjoy an enhanced experience in Hendersonville or Murfreesboro where they feature additional fun with bumper cars, laser tag, roller skating, and more. All locations are open 7 days a week, including holidays. Visit online at strikeandspare.com. Strike and Spare, where fun is bowling.
Approaching the top of the hour, we got Butch Spyridon coming up next. But first, stat of the day brought to you by John English Antique Sports and Cards in Shelbyville. They're open during the week, Tuesday through Friday from noon to 5, and Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 5. Give them a call, 931-492-4304. All right, here's what we got. For the first time since 2006, Edmonton is going to the Stanley Cup Finals. Who did the Oilers face back in 06?
Kelly, I think I know it.
Go with it.
Peter Laviolette and the Carolina Panthers. Carolina Hurricanes, sorry. Got a little too much football on the brain. Let's go,
George.
Carolina Hurricanes, Peter Laviolette.
Let's make sure Kelly's okay with that. Kelly?
I'm okay with it. Let's go.
Correct.
Yeah, baby.
George, yeah.
Did you end up saying the Hurricanes?
Do you realize what that means, Kelly?
What does that mean?
It means this week we have a perfect record.
Nice, because that's been a while.
Do you think we can make it 2 in a row tomorrow?
Depends on the question.
And begin a streak?
I wouldn't bet
Depends
on it.
on the question, but Billy and the boys, want to make us look dumb sometimes, so they come out with something that's just unanswerable.
Do you have a 30-second response to Billy's negativity?
I can mute Kelly.
You mute him, we'll mute you. Anyway, we're done for hour number 1 of the show. Butch Spyridon has had more dealings with the National Football League than anybody in this city. He will join us to start the 5 o'clock hour, and we'll ask him the question, is Nashville getting the 2029 Super Bowl, as Sports Illustrated's Albert Breer suggested last week in his weekly column? We're done for hour number 1. Please do not go away.
ABC News, I'm Daria Albinger. Dr. Anthony Fauci returned to Capitol Hill today to face, at times, intense questions from the House Select Subcommittee on the coronavirus pandemic.
Republicans are trying to cast this very wide net. They allege that he tried to cover up any kind of knowledge or suspicion that the coronavirus may have leaked from a Chinese laboratory, despite the fact that the majority of U.S. intelligence agencies have concluded that it comes from an animal rather than a lab. Fauci calls any idea that he tried to cover that up or tried to muddy that up a quote-unquote false accusation.
ABC's Jay O'Brien. A jury has been seated in the Delaware trial of Hunter Biden, the president's son's accused of lying on the paperwork to buy a handgun 6 years ago, saying he wasn't addicted to drugs at the time. The IDF has confirmed the bodies of 4 hostages have been found in Gaza. New Jersey Senator Bob Menendez, who's on trial for corruption, has filed to run for re-election as an independent. This is ABC News.
From grown-worthy dad jokes to patching up skinned knees, your dad is one of a kind. Here's a Father's Day gift guaranteed to take him to his happy place, Omaha Steaks. Order mouth-watering gift packages starting at just $89 at omahasteaks.com with promo code QUALITY at checkout. Show your dad the love he deserves with an unconditional money-back guaranteed gift as unforgettable as he is. Visit omahasteaks.com, code QUALITY at checkout. Omaha Steaks, America's original butcher.
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Honey, the credit card bill came, and we're maxed out.
Maxed out cards, rent is due. We just need some extra cash to help us get by.
Maybe we should go to 27cash.com.
With our bad credit?
27cash.com is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with any type of credit get up to $5,000, and cash can hit our bank account as soon as tomorrow.
When you need extra cash, go to 27cash.com. That's 27cash.com. 27cash.com.
Have you ever met a single person in your life that enjoys paying taxes? No, no one does. If you can't sleep at night because you have a huge problem with the IRS, I've got some free advice for you. This service is strictly limited to individuals that owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes. And if you qualify, we can guarantee that you won't be writing a big fat check to the IRS, or our services cost you nothing. The first 100 people that call today will get a free tax consultation worth $500. Stop worrying about your IRS problem. We can help you, we promise. Call the tax doctor right now. I mean right now, to learn more.
800-649-0142. 800-649-0142. 800-649-0142. That's 800-649-0142.
WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio. From the Nashville Sports Radio Media Complex. Welcome back to the George Plaster Show. Call George now at 615-844-5600 and online at WNSR.com. And now, George Plaster.
Featuring Tennessee Sports Hall of Famer Watson Brown, Tennessee Sports Hall of Famer Kelly Holcomb, along with Gun Billy Derrick. And now, here's your host, George Plaster.
And we welcome all of you into hour number 2 of the show from our new digs at the Ford Ice Center in Bellevue. Billy, real quickly, 2 upsets so far today in the NCAA baseball regionals.
Yeah, Evansville knocks off East Carolina in Game 7 of that one earlier today. And then Florida has knocked off Oklahoma State, so they're headed to the Supers after squeaking into the tournament. So they're playing Clemson in the Supers up in South Carolina.
Okay, congrats to both of them. North Carolina, LSU, about to start, and then UConn, Oklahoma later tonight, and that will conclude the opening round, and then we'll get into the Super Regionals this weekend. So a lot of you have heard me kind of getting into this story. Albert Breer from Sports Illustrated, one of the better NFL information people out there, put it out there a few days ago that Nashville is going to get the 2029 Super Bowl. If that's true, our next guest probably has more to do with the NFL feeling good about us than anybody. He's the retired CEO of the Nashville Convention and Visitors Bureau, and he is the one and only Butch Spyridon. Butch, how are you?
Oh, we're not getting Butch.
Oh, that's not good.
I gotta get him reconnected.
Okay, we'll
go ahead, Kelly.
Is that a Billy problem? Obviously, sounds like it, and it looks like it on the podcast, and it sounds like it on the radio.
Wow, you are a piece of work. What is wrong with you?
We may have him.
You think so?
Let's try it.
Okay, let's say hello to Butch Spyridon. Butch, how are you?
Still don't.
No.
Okay, then we will backtrack here for just a second. This is where they bring the tarp out in baseball, and the PA announcer says, "Time only has been called." every effort will be made to play tonight's game. The Atlanta Braves thank you for your patience.
Every effort, huh?
Every effort will be made, even if they're not going to draw anybody.
The umps are going back to enjoy a cold one. Everybody's gone. We're going to try to get it. Yeah, but if we don't, it's no big deal.
Okay. Let's Billy's got a little pressure on him right now. You'll notice he's taking himself out of the picture.
Is he sweating? Is he sweating, George?
I think he is a little bit.
That's
You want to change the subject or something?
Billy,
I mean,
what's happened here?
I mean, we've had to stall before. This
Right. But this was a big one.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm
Billy,
not sure.
do we have an opportunity to get him, or is this like it's just not going to happen?
I'm working on it right now. It's not going to be a 5-second fix.
He was just trying to see if we have an ETA, estimated time of arrival.
There's no ETA yet.
By the way, for what it's worth, and I will stall around on this, 2025 Super Bowl is in New Orleans.
Nolans.
Nolans at the Super Bowl. 2026 will go to Levi's Stadium out in the San Francisco Bay Area. And 2027 will be SoFi in Los Angeles. And given what they paid for that place, they ought to get a few Super Bowls. That was a $5 billion facility.
Wow. And it's a nice facility. It is a really nice facility, but man, these things are getting so outrageously expensive. Like, you know, I forget what y'all said that the Nissan Stadium cost, and now what this new one's going to cost is $2 billion. Wow.
That's
Crazy.
insane.
It's insane.
So,
I think he's going to try to call into the studio,
Okay.
and so we're going to.
Okay, we'll
See
do
if
it
we
that
can-
way then here in just a second. So, Kelly, you think it's coming here?
I do, because when you build a new stadium, that's the NFL's deal. I mean, it's like a pact that they tell you that, hey, if you build a new stadium that's going to house, the Tennessee Titans, we will give you a Super Bowl in the next couple of years. And I firmly believe that it will come. And it's now if it was an open stadium, not so sure.
Yeah.
I'm not so
Okay.
sure about that. But being translucent, yeah, I think so.
I'm told Butch Spyridon is on the line with us. Butch, how are you?
I am good, Mr. Plaster. How are you?
Well, first of all, I'm thrilled to hear your voice. God knows I have built this up for 3-4 minutes. Tell people how retirement is down in Mississippi.
Sonny and I have adapted pretty dang well. The odds, Vegas had long odds that I couldn't make it, but I have defied the odds and settled in. I have a few clients, Nashville being one of them. So you've met Dina Ivy before, my replacement, and Dina's my boss now. So
Nice.
I have to be nice and give her a shout out on the air.
Butch, you have believed all along that our city would get a Super Bowl at some point, and you put it out there when you retired that, look, if it looks like that's going to happen, I will be involved in it. How close did they come to a promise of, if you'll build it as a dome, this is what we'll bring you?
Well, I got to believe first, if it would have been open air, I would disagree a tiny bit that I think we could have gotten one for it. But with a roof, I think we have a shot at not only getting one, but being in some kind of regular rotation if we do the job well. I mean, obviously everything's contingent on your ability to execute. But the NFL, I may be one of the rare breeds. I like them. I trust them. They're the best in the business, the sporting event world. And, I know Burke's been talking to them. Nobody needs to worry about the number of seats in the stadium. Nobody needs to worry about the number of hotel rooms in the city. We just got to worry about getting it built.
Butch, in your mind, is there anything that Nashville needs to worry about, or have all the question marks sort of been answered?
In my mind, the NFL is very tight-lipped and strategic in how they approach, especially the Super Bowl. But in my mind, we're not missing anything. Matter of fact, we're as good or better than the majority of sites that they visit regularly. We're a convenient campus. It's walkable. It's entertainment driven. The stadium will be state of the art. It's we have all the right pieces in place. So I'm beyond optimistic. Although I can tell you, the NFL has not awarded 2028 yet. We are not in the running for 28 because they want it to be built and used for at least a year. So they won't talk about anything past 28. I've tried. You know me well enough. I've kicked those tires repeatedly for the last probably 14 months.
Butch, you'd been kicking that tire for 15 years when it came to the NFL draft, because you and I, both being Greek Orthodox, don't tell anybody, but in the communion line, every once in a while, I'd get a little nugget about what was going on between you and them on the NFL draft.
Yeah, that was my time to be a confession. So I felt safe sharing things with you.
Talking to Father George. Okay, so do this for me, and then I'll kind of turn it over to Kelly. What are the actual mechanisms that have to happen? Is it them contacting you to say, we want you to apply? Is there an application process? Give us the whole rundown of how you think that works.
Well, a few years ago, not that long ago, they changed how they approached it. And they used to do an all-out bid process and make everybody march, jump through hoops, show up and present. Now they've gone to more of they'll approach a city and say, okay, 2028 is available, and I'm making this up right now. I don't know who the hell they're talking to for 2028, but New Orleans, are you interested in 28? Here's what's required, and can you meet these requirements? And then once you meet that, then you would enter into some more serious or more concrete negotiations to get it done. So it's a more of a one at a time now, one city, one Super Bowl, than it used to be, which I like better. And like I said a few minutes ago, I think we check all the boxes, so I'm not very worried. And I'll mention Dina. Dina and I talk regularly about this and the other major events, the Final Fours and the college football and WrestleMania and Super Bowl. Anything and everything we can look at, we are.
Butch, last thing from me, and then I will turn it over to Kelly. I brought up earlier today that I thought two of the big requirements, certain number of hotel rooms, and God knows when I look downtown, we're bound to have them, and the other being that beautiful new convention center. Would I be right? Those are the two biggies?
Well, if you're assuming the stadium is kind of a given, yeah. So it's really three biggies. You need to have the rooms, you need to have a convention center for the fan experience, and then you need to have that home field. So we check the boxes. I mean, a month doesn't go by that I don't check in with them. I've been fortunate that when I retired, I asked Dina and the board if I could work on big events, and they were kind enough to let me stay engaged on that. And we're all on the same page. We've asked Governor Haslam to chair a committee. The other big piece of that is how much money you got to raise. And so we have about a 20-member committee, if you will, that will help us decide what year, what events, and how are we going to fund those events. So we got ahead of the curve, and I think the people we've talked to on some of these events, they have been impressed that we have a pretty significant group that can help us raise the money. Because Super Bowl's probably about $50 million, and it won't come from Nashville, public coffers. We'll have to raise some private dollars, and obviously there'll be some. We have an event fund in place, and the state has an event fund, so we'll tap those. But we don't expect it to hurt Nashville. We expect it to help the city's coffers.
Recently retired CEO of the Nashville Convention and Visitors Bureau, Butch Spyridon, is on the line with us from down in Mississippi. Kelly, what do you got for him?
Rich, I know that you talked earlier about how you enjoyed dealing with the NFL, but is the NFL hard to deal with and stuff like that, or not really?
I would tell you that most of my peers in the country think they're really difficult to deal with.
Yeah.
I just find them, they're pretty straightforward. They know what they want. They're good at it. And if you go in understanding this is the gold standard, we've never had an issue. We'll pitch our own ideas. Even on the draft, they almost laughed at us on some and ended up taking most of our ideas at the end. So it works out, and through that process, we built both the relationship and their confidence that we understand what it takes. And I've always said, and Dina feels the same way, it's their event. We're a partner. And you just have to remember that. Any of these events, it's theirs. And so how do we put Nashville's secret sauce on it? How do we make it special? How do we make it different? But also know that at the end of the day, they call the shots.
So, y'all did you did such a good job for the NFL draft, and I know the NFL knows that. They see that. It's such an entertainment capital of the world. But how many people are involved in the planning of all this? I mean, you're kind of the head guy, but like, how many people do you have to bring in? Like, I'm sure it's over hundreds of people to have to bring in to kind of mesh everything together and get it organized.
So the CBC has about 80 employees. You can count on all of them. And then our committee of 20, and then probably 400 or 500 plus volunteers. I don't even know what that exact number is, but I can't imagine it being any less than that. So when you say it takes a village, it truly does. And then police and fire and public works, and the list will go on. And fortunately, the relationship we have with police and fire is one more chit, if you will, in advocating for us, because it's as good as any city out there. After the draft, they tap the Nashville police lieutenant who worked with us to help them with some other things after the fact. So they've learned from us, and we've certainly learned a lot from them.
So this is my last question, Butch. They're building the new stadium, and you talked about it earlier, because I said this right before you came on. If it wasn't kind of a dome stadium, I don't think they would ever consider the Super Bowl. Maybe they would. I don't know. You said maybe, but with an open stadium, I think it's much harder to get. But do you think that the Titans had that in plan, had that in mind, designing the stadium, saying if we build a dome stadium? Because in February, you never know how the weather is going to be in Tennessee. Could be warm, and then it could be frigidly cold. So I'm sure that they probably had that in mind when they went to building the stadium.
Well, I'd have to tell you that the hotel community, which said if we put a roof, tax us, and the state saying, we'll put up $500 million if you put a roof on it. The Titans, just being a small market team, were a little leery of being able to afford a roof. They certainly wanted one, but we're looking at it from the real benefit. The benefit of any of these big events is the city's benefit. The team will actually lose money when we host these events, because I don't plan on paying Burke much rent. So I guess I'm trying to make sure I answer your question. The roof catapulted us into the upper echelon of potential host city. And the Titans were all in on making it happen, but it took the state and the hotel community getting over that hump. And so I want to give them props for getting us to this point that we can have this conversation and nobody's laughing at us anymore.
Butch, part of the reason they're not laughing anymore is the job you did over a 30-year plus period running the CVB. I can't thank you enough for taking the time to come on and kind of talk us through some of this. Come on back sometime. People miss you.
Well, I try to get back once a month, and George Sonny just said to say hello to you. So, tell
her I said hello.
I will do that. I'd be honored to do this in person. And I should be back in a couple of weeks. Maybe I'll holler at you if I'm there.
Let me know. Love to make that happen. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you and Kelly. Appreciate y'all.
Butch Spyridon, the retired CEO of the Nashville Convention and Visitors Bureau. If this comes to pass, he will be a huge reason, in my opinion, the biggest reason that it will have happened. So, you've heard a little bit of what we've thrown out there. I'm going to open up the phone lines, and I want your opinions of what you've heard. Because I will admit, going in, I was really skeptical. I believed that the capacity was going to hurt the city as far as would they ever have a shot at a Super Bowl. Apparently not. Anyway, phone lines will open at 615-844-5600. Again, 615-844-5600. We'll hit the phones when we come back. You're listening to The George Plaster Show on 95.9 FM.
It was the most horrible experience that any mother could ever go through. I knew that I needed to get help. My friend, she immediately said, you need to call Bart Durham. And you guys were there within an hour. You guys are like family for us.
Yeah, sure is nice to connect with the people that you're doing your best to help.
Nashville, get ready for the greatest show on turf. Electrifying, high-octane, non-stop spring football action. Starting at only $30. Don't miss the season opener this April 27th at Municipal Auditorium.
Hi, I'm Jeff Fisher. The Nashville Cats are bringing arena football back to Nashville.
Grab your tickets now at thenashvillecats.com and be part of the action.
Year number 2 of the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night was awesome. And the reason is really simple. I chose Strike and Spare, and they were amazing. They have great food, great bowling, and a staff that is truly ready to go the extra mile to help you. They have 5 family fun centers in the area to choose from, and for more info, go to strikeandspare.com or call them at 615-824-5688. Venture Express has been helping people in this area for more than 40 years. They're headquartered in Murfreesboro with over 30 years of dedicated fleets involving production, manufacturing, and corrugated experiences. They're an asset-based company with over 700 tractors, 4,000 trailers, and 800 drivers. If you need their help, Dial them up, 615-793-9500, or log on to ventureexpress.com.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donnelly Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonnellyTimmons.com. Construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
Over the years, more men have started to seek help for hormone deficiencies and imbalances, and Dr. Jeffrey Lodge and wife Daphne, along with their experienced staff, give men the treatment required to improve their quality of life, improve your immune system, energy level, cognitive function, and more. There's no better time to achieve a healthy lifestyle. What are you waiting for? Give Cool Springs MD a call today for an appointment at 615-486-3458 or visit the website coolspringsmd.com.
It's JB and the General.
I am in no means a chiseled god. I don't have a six-pack. I'm not looking like The Rock out here. But goodness gracious, George Niang legitimately has a beer belly out on the floor right now.
Yeah, but so does Jokic. He's the best player in the world.
Well, George Niang is clanking him off the backboard.
Weekdays 9 to 11, live on WNSR.
Okay, let's take some phone calls. You've heard some of what we've put out there, and now I'm going to ask the question because I'll admit I've been skeptical. Is Nashville going to get a Super Bowl? What do you think? Eric on line 1, welcome in.
Hey, George, before I get started, I just wanted to tell you, just to wish me luck, George. I told you I was trying to see if I couldn't go back to work. I sent the stuff that I need to send off to a vocational rehab deal, but they're going to go through me. They're going to, on my behalf, go try to get all the medical records and things possible so I can go back to work. It's not that I can't work, I can, but I just can't do anything physically demanding because of my hip replacement surgery. So we're going to see what happens down the road, so wish me luck on that.
We're wishing you the best. How about that?
Okay. Hey, George, as far as what you were saying, George, I was kind of like you. I was kind of skeptical because from what I've heard years past, I thought the stadium had to be at least minimum about 80,000, not 60,000. But I guess according to just the newer rules and all that stuff has kind of changed. And I definitely think that we have a shot, George, not only because of that. If you remember, of course, now we're to the point where we have more than enough, I think, hotel space here in Nashville around the counties and surrounding areas. also the fact that we had the successful NFL draft. I think Nashville, the NFL was really, really impressed and blown away by how we did the NFL draft. I think that helped. And also the fact that you also not only have the new stadium where you can use for events, you've also got Bridgestone Arena, and also I think the Music City Convention Center, and just all the things where you could have different events going on downtown. I also think all that helps. And usually with something like that, the stadium might not come the year that it opened or that first year, but within a year or two after the new stadium opens, that's usually when you get to Super Bowl, because we'll get in that probably that 5-year rotation. So I definitely think, especially, we'll also possibility too of getting another NFL draft. So I think with all those factors, I think our chances are good of getting it. Just get off. Guys, y'all take care. Have a great day. We'll talk to you again soon.
Eric, thank you. Kelly, I do think that there are two things that probably have opened their eyes about our city. NFL draft being one, but I'll go outside of this sport. The Preds run to the Stanley Cup Finals, and the scenes coming out of downtown Nashville had to get some people's attention. I know it got, the Major League Soccer, MLS. That was a big deal to them, what they saw in those couple of weeks when the Preds, got to the finals. Anyway, I think it's a combination of things, and maybe it's going to happen.
No, I think it will, George. I think with country music being here too, and the Country Music Hall of Fame, and all, it's just known as an entertainment city. And I think with what they did with the draft, what they do with CMA, I think the Predators had something to do with it. That's why you're getting all this attention for all these major league sports, because there's no state income tax when you come here. Plus, I mean, it's just it's a place to be. It's an entertainment place, and I think it's a home run for anybody that comes here. I really do.
Let's try Ryan in Hendersonville on line 2. Ryan, are you there?
I am. Appreciate y'all taking my call. I don't have any concerns about the infrastructure of the city or the hotel numbers or any of that. My biggest concern would just be the reputation of that downtown area. Everyone's heard the story of Morgan Wallen throwing a chair off a bar roof, but do you think the NFL raises any concerns about kind of Nashville being bachelorette party central and kind of the reputation of downtown?
Let me ask you one question. NFL held a Super Bowl in Vegas, correct?
That is correct.
There's your answer.
If anything, that's why they want to go to Nashville.
For more of Vegas?
Well, not more of Vegas, but, Nashville's not Vegas. I mean, probably getting close, but I think if anything, they may want a little bit of that chaos.
Oh, I think they want I don't know about chaos necessarily, but I think they want all the buzz they can get about an event. They have certainly priced out of the market to go to the game about 85% of human beings who simply throw up their hands and say, who's kidding who? Kelly, that is one thing that bothers me. It is now a game for corporate, and it's a game for rich, and it isn't anything else.
Well, George, I can remember my first years in the NFL, and there would be a guy that you have as an NFL player, you have to buy 2 Super Bowl tickets. You have to. They force you to buy them. And
legally,
then I've seen guys. Yes, you have to pay retail price for it. So,
really?
You've seen people. Yeah, absolutely, you do. We have to buy, but normally, sometimes guys use them, but normally you do other things with that, and you don't want to get in trouble with that.
Like what? But what kind of thing?
I'm not going any further with that, but you know where I'm getting at.
Well, you scalp the hell out of them.
Well, there's people willing to buy those, and there's people that get in contact with you if they know you to say, hey, I'll pay for them, I'll buy them for you. So it's that's but it's so big now, George, and I think we talked about it here. The NFL is about making money, and you say it on every show. It seems like they're all about this, but like we all talked about how they were all about they're all about thwarting gambling away and not talking about gambling. And now gambling is huge. And they went to Vegas, and Vegas was it was a black spot on the map. They were not going to Vegas. And now all the betting came out, and now some of their biggest donors are betting companies. And now they go to Vegas, and they have a really, they put on a huge show there, because that is the entertainment capital of this country and maybe the world. But then, you look at Nashville, and I think Nashville's got so many ups that are in it. I think they did a great job. I think they do a great job with entertainment. And I just see it as a no-brainer for the NFL, because if they come here, people are going to want to come. They're going to, they can do a lot of other things while they're here. And the whole NFL experience is just a home run.
Okay, I want to ask Mark in Nashville, who's on the line. Hang with me. I'll come to you after the break. And apparently we got a couple of lines open. 615-844-5600 is the number. Hit the phones. We'll take more of your phone calls next as you listen to The George Plaster Show on 95.9 FM. As you might be able to tell, my buddy Stan Harrison, he's an Alabama Crimson Tide fan, but he's actually here to talk about Apple Collision Centers.
Hello, Middle Tennessee. I'm Stan Harrison, CEO of Apple Collision Centers, and we understand the stress it causes in having an automobile accident. We can help you ease the stress of the auto body repair process at our 3 locations. We're conveniently located in Old Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin. We've got rental cars available, we have PDR technicians available, and we have windshield technicians available. Please stop by one of our places and see us if you need our services.
And by the way, when you come in his office, this just in, he's a sports fan.
You were in a crash.
Yeah.
Your kids were in a car with you.
We're very lucky to even be telling this story to you. Nikki treated us like family, and she was very caring and loving, and I'm just so grateful for that. She was somebody I could trust, and being a veteran, that's so important to me. My kids are going to have a better life now because I don't have to worry about those expenses that we were out. Your family has really created a legacy of trust, and I would recommend you to anyone.
Nashville Sounds Baseball is back in Hit City for the 2024 season. Spend your nights and weekends at the ballpark with weekly giveaways, fireworks shows, throwback deals, live music, and more. Top talent will take the field at First Horizon Park against the AAA Minnesota Twins, Baltimore Orioles, Atlanta Braves, St. Louis Cardinals, Cincinnati Reds, and more. Tickets start at just $10 and are available now at NashvilleSounds.com. We will see you in Hit City.
For over 35 years, Wilson Bank & Trust has been committed to providing customized banking solutions to help individuals, families, and businesses in Tennessee achieve their goals. As your full-service community bank, we are proud to offer loans with competitive rates, local decision-making, and fast, friendly service from our experienced lenders. No matter where you are on your financial journey, Wilson Bank & Trust is ready to help you take the next step. Visit your nearest Wilson Bank & Trust office or online at wilsonbank.com to get started today. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
800 drivers. If you need their help, dial them up, 615-793-9500, or log on to ventureexpress.com.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donnelly Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonleyTimmons.com.
Atlanta Braves baseball is back, and the battle for a 7th straight division title is officially on.
Hit high and deep to left center. This has got a chance. Gone! Another home run for Olsen. He smokes another one. He lit the fuse on this bomb, and that's gone.
Listen to every pitch live, exclusively on your home for Atlanta Braves baseball. WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio.
By the way, did I tell you that our friends at Comcast are screwing us over and that we don't get to see the Atlanta Braves?
No, what's going on?
Yeah, really.
Please tell us again for the 40th time.
Yes. We're being hosed.
Well, you can listen to it on WNSR.
And believe me, I do. How about that?
Hey, it was really funny the other night because I was flipping through the channels and I saw the Atlanta Braves on, and I cut it on there for a second, George, and I'm like, George is not getting to see this.
Wow. So it's a different deal in Murfreesboro?
Yeah, it's called DirecTV Stream. Get another streaming source, George.
Might need to work on that. Mark in Nashville, you are up first, and thank you for waiting.
Thanks for accepting my call, guys.
Happy to do so. What's on your mind?
Yeah, so, other than the stadium capacity, I do think the Super Bowl is likely to come to Nashville, but other than the stadium capacity, what other concerns could be an issue regarding the Super Bowl coming to Nashville? Thanks for taking my call, guys.
Okay, let's run through it. So we think
traffic.
Well, hold on. We big check mark for hotel.
True.
Big check mark for convention center.
True.
Check mark for arena right down in there. Who knows whether the Predators would be at home that week? Some Super Bowls, the hockey or the NBA team is at home. Others are not. So we can't really know that. Traffic, to me, is a big concern.
Huge. Because like Kelly said, and Kelly brought up during SEC Media Days, he was going down there to pick up a buddy.
Right.
And that's a big event, but that's nowhere close to the Super Bowl.
It's not even
and
close.
I know that's 5 years down the road, which, 2029, hopefully it gets better, but traffic isn't something that gets better within a year, unless I'm totally wrong. You got to, let's get a few more lanes. Something.
Oh, I think this is more of a, what are we going, light rail? What are we doing? There's no way to know.
Other than that, George, I don't think there's any negatives though for a Super Bowl coming here. I really don't. I think they've already shown that they can handle it. They've got a lot of entertainment that's here, a lot of country music that goes on. There's so much for a fan to do, not just with football. Like if you wanted to come to the Grand Ole Opry or to go to the Country Music Hall of Fame or take in something else, there's so many things to do, or listen to maybe a down the road country star in some of these bars. There's so much to do. I just don't think there's any negatives other than the way the traffic is now. Hopefully that'll be alleviated in a couple of years.
Let's go to Jack in Smyrna, listening on 107.9. Jack, how are you today?
Doing well. How are you, George?
Good, thank you.
Yeah. So, if I'm not mistaken, this Super Bowl's all week long, right?
Oh yeah,
the party's going to be going from Monday to Sunday.
Yeah, and look, for instance, the part I would know, Radio Row is now a massive deal. And back, I don't know, in the early 2000s, I went to about 4 of them, which is probably 3 more than I really wanted to go to, but nonetheless did. It's a loony bin, but
especially now. You've got so many shows that put money into that, whether it's McAfee or all kinds of the TV shows or radio shows that are simulcast that have their own setups. So that's that week, like he said, the caller said, is the most of it, other than the actual game.
I'm not sure we'd be on the front row.
Maybe I could work, George. Maybe I could do some work.
I think we're going to need the cachet that you bring to the table.
Which is not much.
God, if that's what we're hoping for.
What does Watt say? That and a cup of coffee will get you.
We'll get you a cup of coffee. Go ahead, Jack. We kind of butted in on you.
Yeah, no worries. But, I mean, just getting to work, I got to get across downtown, every morning and got to get back. I mean, how backed up do you think 40 could be that whole week? I mean, is there any chance they'd have some workaround, or is it just going to be what it's going to be?
No, I think you're bringing up a really good point, and the point may well be that the Super Bowl is the catalyst to our city getting a real traffic plan. We're one of the few cities that has got the kind of congestion we've got that really has no plan. Mayor Dean tried years ago the AMP. Nobody bought it. It got shot down, I think, in a referendum. But anyway, the point is we don't even really have a plan. And maybe the Super Bowl would be the push that ultimately gets our city a plan. Because you're right, something's going to have to happen. I think that's got him cleared away. Let's stay in Smyrna. Kelly, you look like you got something.
Well, it was just like, when Atlanta had the Olympics down there, they had to do a bunch of stuff. And now you got all those lanes going to Atlanta. I mean, it's 3 lanes all the way. So, sometimes cities have these big events, and it forces the town governments to do something. And in that case, we're talking about the traffic. They got to figure it out.
Amen. Frank in Smyrna, listening on 107.9. Welcome.
Thanks, George. How you guys doing?
We're good. Hope you are.
Yeah, doing well. I was like you for years and said, Super Bowl in Nashville, yeah, I'll believe it when I see it, kind of thing. I just never thought that was even plausible because, first of all, I never thought they would build it's not a retractable roof, it's a translucent roof. I never thought I would see anything like that happen in Nashville, Tennessee. Growing up in Tullahoma and going to Nashville, as a kid, I just never thought I'd see anything like that happen. And now that it's going to happen, and God knows we've got enough hotel rooms in Nashville, the Music City Center, yeah, we check off all the boxes. And plus the NFL puts on a thing, and I found this out a couple of years ago, living part-time down in Sarasota, Florida. They put on a thing called the NFL Experience for the fans. I went when it was at Tampa, I guess 2 or 3 years ago, when the Chiefs and the Buccaneers were in the game, and they held it in a park in Tampa, and it was really a fun experience. My wife and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Walk around, just see all kinds of exhibits and memorabilia, and just a really good time. There's live music. I don't know where they could really have that in February in Nashville. The one concern I got, I guess, is like the previous caller, the traffic. I mean, there's always 1,001 ways you could say the traffic in Nashville's horrible. I mean, they're going to have to come up with a plan. Light rail, public transportation, they're going to have to get that cleaned up and people start using it, in my opinion.
Public transit.
Otherwise, let's hope everybody can work at home for the week Super Bowl's in town, because you sure won't be able to go anywhere.
What did you think since you saw it? I've been to Radio Row one year in Tampa. What did you think was the biggest negative that went on?
The event seemed kind of far spaced out. Where if you know where the stadium is in Tampa, it's kind of on the northwest side of the city, right by the Tampa airport. It's, no more than a half a mile from the Tampa airport. And, Radio Row was downtown in the convention center. Well, the park they held it in was, if anybody's familiar with Tampa, you had to walk up the river walk, probably a good 15 minutes and then across the bridge there to get in the NFL fan experience. But, in February, the weather isn't a problem those days in Tampa. So, my wife and I didn't have a lot of complaining about it. We didn't have any complaints about it, really. And parking in Tampa, honestly, I think I might have paid $20 to park that day. They do not rip you off in Tampa when it comes to parking. And
they do rip you off in Nashville.
They certainly do. And that's why I have, well, we're not talking about the Predators, but that's one of the big reasons why if I let my season tickets go, that's probably going to be one of the reasons why I'm sick of it. That they need to get that under control. When I say they, the mayor and the city council, they need to get that under control. I would hate to see what it might cost for, a fan like us that wants to go downtown to a Super Bowl event. Have to pay $100 to park? Are you kidding me? Come on,
Yeah.
Nashville's got to do better. But
it doesn't grow on trees.
Absolutely, yeah. That's my 3 cents worth for what it's worth.
Frank, keep listening. Appreciate it.
I sure will, George. Thank you, guys.
George, we got an interesting comment here from Jimmy, and y'all can agree or disagree. No confidence in Metro government, and I think that's this Metro is going to have to make some big decisions. I know they got a lot of time before Super Bowl gets here, but
I'm not willing to go there because I think the cooperation in big events, as Butch put out there earlier, Metro Police, that kind of thing, has been way better than most cities. For what it's worth.
Yeah, just throwing that out there because that'll be important.
I will say this, though. I didn't think about that, and Frank, the last caller, said something about it when it's in February. I mean, even though the stadium is translucent, it's going to be translucent. You're going to get to go inside, and it's going to be a dome. If it's really cold, where do you put that fan experience? Where do you do with all that? Are you going to be able to put it maybe? I don't know if you can go into the convention center. I know it's a big place, but where do you put all that stuff, George? Because if it's 20 degrees outside, nobody wants to be outside doing that. So, I mean, we got to find a place and maybe Bridgestone. There's going to be so many things that go on, so many swinging arms of this thing that goes on. But, that is one thing. That is a kind of another negative because you never know what the weather's going to be in Tennessee because it's so up and down. Could be warm, could be really frigidly cold. It could be nice. So, with that fan experience, because that's a big thing for the NFL. If it does turn out cold, where would you put it?
Stop there. We'll go to the break, and then we'll have the plaster bet of the day, which won't pay for any of this, and a look at what's coming tomorrow on the show. Stay with us.
Good afternoon. We're still dealing with some wet driving conditions out here in certain parts of Middle Tennessee, even in the Nashville area. Give yourself extra time finishing around 440 eastbound right at the I-65 interchange. That had is a little bit slow between Hillsboro, Pike, and 65 there on 440 eastbound. Wrapping up a crash 65 south at OHB in Madison. Prince's Hot Chicken now has Uber Eats for delivery. Check out princeshotchicken.com for more information on that menu. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Venture Express has been helping people in this area for more than 40 years. They're headquartered in Murfreesboro with over 30 years of dedicated fleets involving production, manufacturing, and corrugated experiences. They're an asset-based company with over 700 tractors, 4,000 trailers, and 800 drivers. If you need their help, dial them up 615-793-9500 or log on to ventureexpress.com.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donnelly Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonleyTimmons.com.
You were in a crash.
Yeah.
Your kids were in the car with you.
We're very lucky to even be telling this story to you. Nikki treated us like family, and she was very caring and loving, and I'm just so grateful for that. She was somebody I could trust, and being a veteran, that's so important to me. My kids are going to have a better life now because I don't have to worry about those expenses that we were out. Your family has really created a legacy of trust, and I would recommend you to anyone.
Here's Stan Harrison for Apple Collision Centers.
Hello, George. We at Apple Collision Centers understand the stress that auto body repair process can put in your day-to-day lives. We at Apple Collision Centers, we have 3 convenient locations, Old Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin, ready to serve you. You can stop by and get an estimate, or you can get one online at www.applecollisioncenters.com.
For over 35 years, Wilson Bank & Trust has been committed to providing customized banking solutions to help individuals, families, and businesses in Tennessee achieve their goals. As your full-service community bank, we are proud to offer loans with competitive rates, local decision-making, and fast, friendly service from our experienced lenders. No matter where you are on your financial journey, Wilson Bank & Trust is ready to help you take the next step. Visit your nearest Wilson Bank & Trust office or online at wilsonbank.com to get started today. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hey Tennessee, Jeff Fisher here. Ready for edge-of-your-seat football action? The Nashville Cats are bringing it to you live.
I'm Eli Gold, and we promise you an electrifying experience with every play. Arena football is back. It's furious and full of fun. Join us for the greatest show on turf. Secure your tickets today at thenashvillecats.com and get ready to cheer for your Nashville Cats.
Final segment on a Monday. It's time now for Plaster's Bet of the Day, brought to you by Bart Durham Injury Law. Give them a call, 615-242-9000, or log on to bartdurham.com. Let's check out what happened over the weekend.
Ugh.
And that's the Mavericks, correct?
No, that would
or is
be
that the Stars?
Dallas Stars.
Okay, so.
Who are no longer an item.
No.
They're no longer part of this.
That's right. No, they certainly are not. So tonight we are going San Diego Padres, a dysfunctional unit that is starting to score some runs, and it'll be plenty good enough to beat the pitiful Angels in Anaheim.
That's what I was going to say, a dysfunctional unit like the Angels. I mean, seriously.
They need some Angels in the outfield.
Yeah, they do.
Yes.
Tomorrow on the show, Tony Basilio in the first hour from Knoxville, Marc Weiszer from the Athens Daily Herald to talk Bulldogs, baseball, and football. Until then, Billy, behave.
Kelly, behave.
Kelly, do
Thank you,
behave.
Billy. How about that, Billy?
Grow up.
See you tomorrow.